We can say anything in
just one look.
What if that was just our podcast? Just one look. That would be the name
Just
of it.
one look.
Every episode is just one look that we
Just
give each other.
one look. Just like an 80s theme.
Yeah, it sounds like an 80s song, doesn't it?
Hey, it's Nikki.
And it's Brie.
And it's just one
look.
look. Oh, I didn't spike the camera.
I know. We're supposed to look at the camera too. Like they get one look, and you
get one
look.
I'm Nikki.
And I'm Brie.
And we are late to the party. We're a podcast about film, fashion, and pop culture.
We're here for a good time.
We are. We might be late, but we're worth the wait.
Ooh, new tagline?
Yes.
I like that.
It's not Beverly Hills 90210. What is the thing that everyone likes? The Bravo thing with the ladies fighting and flipping over tables.
The Real Housewives?
Yes.
Well, actually, I guess there's drama in both. So,
yeah, thank you.
I could
It was
see
on
the
the
connection.
tip of my tongue. I've never gotten into the
You've never seen any,
Housewives.
not even the New York ones?
No, and I'm not trying to be a pick-me. I really haven't. I've seen clips, and I love the clips, but I haven't gone into it.
I went through a phase where I was into the New York Housewives. That's as far as I got. But
What was it about the New York Housewives that like drew you in?
I think it's because most of them are Italian.
Okay,
But they
I
were
love
really,
that.
it was like kind of like over the top, you know? It's like Jersey Shore, but like older and sophisticated ladies with drama.
Okay, you're
Sometimes
selling
drama in their
this.
inner circles, you know? A lot of times drama with their husbands, or like their husbands like locked up for some crimes.
Some crimes.
A lot of mafia associations. I don't know, just a fascination with that, you know?
I love that.
Yeah.
That comforts me. I don't know. Does it make you feel like you're at home? Just like
a little bit, yeah.
This is my culture.
Like my culture.
Representation matters.
Yeah.
I love that.
But that might be why I slipped on all the other ones. I'm like,
They're not Italian.
I'm like, do I need the Real Housewives? I don't know if it's Texas. I can't remember what the other ones are.
And like Salt Lake, you got the Mormon
Oh,
wives.
yeah.
Atlanta. Nene Leakes.
Oh,
I
that
know
one might
her.
be good. Yeah. I mean, I've seen clips. I feel like it was like, I don't know, something you had to be there for. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or there's like that one housewife that has that late to the party song. Or don't be tardy to the party.
Oh, tardy to the
Tardy
party.
to the party. That's a bop. See, sometimes
That
they'll
is
do
bop.
stuff like that. And I'm like, oh, that's
I
fun.
love when like those type of celebrities put out a single. Like, remember Kim Kardashian put out a song?
No.
In, like,
what?
A la like a Real Housewives
When was
style
this?
song / Paris Hilton. Like late 2000s. Like
Is it-
peak like MySpace era Kim Kardashian.
Is it a bop?
It's okay.
It's
but
okay.
It's iconic because she was brave enough to go out there
Yeah.
and just lay down a track like her mother Chris.
Oh my God. I love, yeah. What is her song? It's like,
Oh my
about
God.
her friends rolling with their
My
friends.
No,
I love
kicking in
The
the
friends.
front.
See, it kind of has Friday vibes, not gonna lie. But is it about her birthday or something?
Oh yeah, it's like my favorite. Oh my God, she like wakes up and she's in her car.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's like
what
the
is the
perfect
song?
day and Friday. You know, that was the inspiration.
Yes, they were influenced by Kris Jenner's song in the car.
Mm-hmm. I like to
Love
think
it.
so. Oh,
It's a true icon.
Kris Jenner.
I don't know. Maybe I feel like the
Controversial
Yeah, I
icon?
feel like a controversial icon.
Yeah.
My
But icon nonetheless.
Yeah, icon nonetheless. No, my TikTok is only the Diddy trial right now.
Oh,
But we're
okay.
not here for that.
No.
We are here to talk film, fashion, and pop culture.
Yeah.
God damn it. Good film, fashion, and pop culture. Or good to us.
Good. Yeah.
No negative vibes.
No bad vibes.
Yeah. How have you been, Brie?
I mean, okay, a little stressed. It's just been busy. You know, work's been busy.
You came in a little frazzled.
I also am paranoid. I think I'm overthinking that I
Mhm.
might, you know how I have a toe infection that's pretty much almost healed. Now I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my God, is it happening to my finger?
Is it?
I don't know.
Is that why you have that Band-Aid?
Yeah.
Not to give you the like.
But I think it's also maybe this one. So I think I'm just paranoid
Huh.
though. I think I'm hyperfixated on it. It's like once you Google something, and
it's just like.
yeah.
No, okay.
I don't even
no.
remember how my fingers are supposed to look anymore. They all look funny to me. Same for my toes. Like I don't remember.
So while this
who
is
I am.
happening to you, Brie, I am here. I'm like, oh my God, because I have a beauty mark on my face.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I was like, it looks different. And I convinced myself Like I WebMD'd it.
Oh,
I'm
no.
like, oh, I have cancer.
Oh no.
Like I'm freaking out. I'm like, I don't know what to do. So I did have a mini crisis as well.
I'm not laughing at you, but with you
I
because
feel
like,
your pain.
I was like, oh, I don't know if I should bring this up because I don't know if this will mess up the vibe.
No, I came to it. I had to like simmer down. I had to reel it in.
I was like that before I came over. So like, yeah. I feel seen.
But I've been feeling really good this week.
Yeah, like for the most part, I feel like, you know.
I am singing that like Kris Jenner song in my head. Or Perfect Day, at least a less problematic song potentially. But don't cancel us in the future. Just, have a feeling about the Kardashians. That's all.
Oh, okay.
But anyways, I was feeling like Kris Jenner. Perfect days. Back to back to back. And then that happened and I was like, no. I don't know. I felt like I jinxed it. It's my neuroses.
I know. Same. Girl, same. It doesn't take much though for me to go down that rabbit hole.
So fast.
Yeah.
But yeah, I haven't been like, besides just being like the rehearsal obsessive and watching
still
the
need to
Virgin
catch
Series,
up.
you have to. You're gonna love it.
I'm trying to get Donnie to watch. Like,
is he picking like? Does he understand Nathan Fielder?
I think he would. Yeah, I think because that other what was it? Nathan for You.
Nathan for You.
Yeah, I feel like this one's a little different, but I think he might think it's even funner because the humor's more dry and it's like he's seriously dissecting something, but it's for comedy's sake.
Yeah. No, it's so good. You have to see this last episode. But yeah, besides that and watching the Virgin Suicides, I have been watching movie trailers. Or I've been seeing more movie trailers that I'm like, you know what? I do want to take my little self to the movies this summer.
I know. I want to go. Okay, did you see Megan 2.0 is coming out?
A long time ago, and I completely forgot until you put it on the dock this afternoon.
It's just been inundating my TikTok feed for some reason. Like they're advertising to me.
Stitch has got me. They want me to see the live action Lilo and Stitch so bad.
Really? They know your history of the original Stitch.
Yeah, just Stitch being my man.
Yeah.
But I didn't actually see Lilo and Stitch. I was late to the party.
Oh, really?
I first saw it a couple years ago, and I was like, why didn't I actually see this movie? It's like one of the best Disney films.
I don't know why I thought you saw it and loved it. Maybe I was just thinking at the time you were in a tourist town or something. Maybe I projected that onto
I feel like if you were a child in the early 2000s, maybe it was just a given that Lilo and Stitch would be.
Or did anyone give you something Lilo and Stitch? I just feel like Lilo and Stitch was around.
It was always around. It was in abundance.
Yeah.
But no, I loved Stitch. Just like cute. And I loved that game on DisneyChannel.com.
Maybe that's
the one where they were making the sandwiches. Iconic.
Maybe we just played a lot of Disney games.
I was a gamer in the Sweet Life of Zack and Cody game where you'd go through like the maze in the hotel.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Lizzie McGuire, Dress Me. Hannah Montana, I believe, also Dress Me. Love a Dress Me game.
Same. I always think of the Barbie ones, or My Scene.
Oh my God, My Scene.
You know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
And then, Barbie.com. Barbie.
Serious gamer girls.
Oh my God, totally gamer girls. I discovered some bops. I discovered like Rome by the B-52s because of like the Barbie website, like circa 2004.
Dang. That's pretty awesome.
So Greta Gerwig, Barbie, put some like impact on it. Yeah.
That's funny though, the B-52s. I could see that for Barbie.
She had like one of those very like early 2000s like Windows multimedia player style things, and it'd play like the B-52s. Just some bops. I miss websites like that. I miss being a kid.
I know. You know what's
really sad.
No, I literally, I don't know why. I went to like this website recently. I forget what made me think of this, but there was this game with like a stick man or something, or like a bubble man, and you just like threw grenades at him or something. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Vaguely. Actually,
there was also a George Bush like ragdoll.
Huh.
Where he goes through the I don't know. It's wild. But like those games that are like, they're like the stupid games. Do you remember that? Like stupid games?
Vaguely.
There'd be like a stick person or something, and
it's coming back.
You just make them do like crazy antics for hours. I would just spend like with like something dumb like that, like
that's so fun.
Throwing knives. I don't know.
Oh my God, you're unlocking things. Like something is happening.
It still exists.
Me.
Yeah, there's like this like man made of bubbles, and you can turn gravity off. It's like addicting games. Net or something. One of those websites.
Something is happening. I'm unlocked. I'm actually.
It's coming to you.
You know how you say memory unlocked, and it's like, oh, like, you know, TikTok speak, whatever.
No, but sometimes they get on, like,
it's
for
like
real.
hyperbolic. But no, I think you're unlocking a memory.
Yeah.
Oh my god, this is what Sofia Coppola did when she directed The Virgin Suicide. Oh my god. It wasn't even planned. That also came out of me like a memory unlocked.
Wow. So it's like Robert Rodriguez says, you gotta let the creative spirit run through you.
Amen. I mean, okay, Robert Rodriguez, I did listen to that 3-hour Lex Friedman podcast.
Yeah.
And, you know, I was really inspired.
Right? I was so inspired. Just the way he talks about creativity. It also does make me think of Sofia Coppola, like her approach to directing, or like their trajectory a little bit, like of just deciding to make something and not necessarily, well, obviously her father's a director, so she would know a lot.
You know, the nepo baby.
There's that
connection, but still.
But she hadn't written a screenplay or anything, I don't think, when she made The Virgin Suicides, right?
Nope.
And she was like 28.
She was 28, and, you know, she did all that. You know, she did Milk Fed beforehand. She modeled a bit. She was a short-lived actress. So she did a lot. She was at Cal Arts, and I don't know, it was an interesting,
she did photography.
Yeah.
And that's a visual medium. I could see how that blends.
She like, it's so interesting about her because I know she has like the nepo baby connections and stuff, but she really did that thing where she just tried a bunch of things and was able to answer the call whenever it happened, and that freedom is really fun. And it does make me think of the whimsy of a Robert Rodriguez film, if you want to like combine them, of just like not having those inhibitions. Maybe it's because she's a nepo baby, all that privilege, but you know.
But I know, I think you're onto something, because like I feel like they're both kind of hands-on and stuff, because he does all his own editing and things like that. Like, it was really cool to hear him talk about that kind of process. And I feel like with Sofia Coppola, she's so involved. Like, she's a hands-on director.
It's like she wants to be an auteur. Like Quentin Tarantino, who she briefly dated, and you know, she's kind of like in the same, like if the film was high school, they'd be in the same, you know, class, or like he'd be a grade above her. Not in quality, but you know, just in vibes. And like older. But where was I going with that? That idea of being an auteur and being inspired heavily by the 70s and filmmakers of the 70s, and you know, just wanting to be auteurs.
And just having like a clear vision. Like, it seems like she's always just had a vision and knows what she wants. And like the Virgin Suicides, this Blu-ray that you let me borrow is really cool, and it has like the special features and stuff. And when she talks about making it, she talks about just like when you're like a creative person, you have this like vision in your head of how you want it to look, and you'll do anything to like get it out. You know? I don't know.
It's like a being inside you. I guess that's why they say they like birth it. But you know, I've directed like short films in college, but you know, that like feeling like it's jimmying out of you, just like it's something just in yourself. That you express. I don't know. Being creative is really cool.
It is cool. And I think The Virgin Suicide, no one else could direct it in this way.
Well, she like knew, talking about manifesting, a manifestation queen. She read The Virgin Suicides book by Jeffrey Eugenides, and she was like, no one else could make this film but me. And
because they were going to have someone else, like some guy.
A man. It was going to be darker and grittier and like.
Not the vibe.
No, I think it's really cool that also this being her first film. I mean, albeit Francis Ford Coppola is her father, but still just like the clear vision, the clear like skill for filmmaking and crafting a film and adapting a screenplay. Like, it's all there right out of the gate. And it's just so inspiring.
I'm so impressed by her. I just like stay like and there's like some articles that you linked here that I was like, well, it really made me think about her influence as like a female director that I just haven't really thought about, you know? I mean, she's not the only female director, but I feel like she's definitely made an impact of like a certain perspective.
And for me personally, and I know so much. She's like the internet. She's like Gen Z's patron saint of TikTok, essentially, you know? Like this certain group of gals that have like discovered Sofia Coppola. I mean, we were at the book signing. We know, the letterbox.
That's so cool.
Girls.
I'm so glad.
I am too. And, you know, they're finally like, I say they because we were around because we went to the Sofia Coppola archive book signing this past year.
I know. I couldn't help but think about that as
I
well.
know.
I'm like, good times.
I know.
We met this lady.
Even if I accidentally flashed her potentially. But yeah, I don't care. It's okay to flash your idol. But what was I saying? Oh, we were all around like 17-year-olds, you know, like going to NYU or still in high school, and they were all just so into film.
Yeah.
But it seems like for them, and for me too, it's just a different film like sect, but they all saw something in Sofia Coppola that made them want to expand their horizons and watch more film and like see her influences because
right. Yeah, it is interesting to see. Like, I am curious about man, what is that one that she said was a visual influence for is it Badlands?
Oh, Badlands, yeah.
For Virgin Suicides?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one I could see the visual reference. Like, I could understand
100%. I've never seen it, but just from those bomb bonus features on the Criterion Collection DVD.
Yeah.
But no, it's just so cool. Like, she's not the only person that does it, but I relate to her the most and resonate with her work the most. And she's the only female, but like even like a Tarantino, or to a lesser degree Robert Rodriguez, but mainly Tarantino, these like pastiches.
Yeah.
Almost. But not, you know, Tarantino's pastiche, I think Sofia Coppola is not pastiche, but she's taking all these elements. Like, you know, her taste is impeccable. Her music taste is impeccable.
And I love that the music isn't always directly from the decade of like sometimes there's some of that, but it's like
it's about creating an atmosphere.
Yeah. I feel like she does that so well.
So well. I mean, her directing and music videos as well, kind of parlaying into her films, especially this film, particularly like her taste. Just right out of the gate, she just is a fully formed human who knows who she is and what she wants to see and is going to make it happen.
I love that.
Like, it's so cool.
It still blows my mind that we were like at that book signing. I'm like, so cool.
It was so cool. Well, and the coolest thing was, for me, was being around her for that like microsecond.
Yeah.
And just how she was able to control the energy of like her surroundings.
Yeah, like she's so cool, calm, and like collected.
Yeah.
And I could see how like on a set, like with a bunch of people, like, you know, you have to probably be that way, you know, because I mean, I'm sure that like there's directors that get a bad rep for like just like being really, you know, like, just like yelling at like,
the set.
Yeah.
But to do that quietly and to make people like collectively, you know, work towards a project.
Yeah.
Like that's like a real leader.
Definitely.
So, no, have you seen that photo of Sofia Coppola in 1998 for the Virgin Suicides, and she's like looking into the camera and directing, and she's dressed in a dress and sandals?
Is it one of the Corinne Day ones, or?
I believe so. I have it saved.
Oh, right, because there's some photos in her in the Sofia Coppola archive.
Yeah, which, oh my gosh. So apparently with Mac Publications, she has an imprint now. And oh my god, I forget what it's called. Something Flowers, Important Flowers. But the Virgin Suicides book that's coming out, it's all shots like Corinne Day took.
Yeah, it's like ones that are not like that haven't been seen, or like some that have, but a lot that haven't.
Like everything she found while working on Sofia Coppola archive, she's making into like a chic coffee table book.
I love that.
Yeah, same. But it's just, I don't know, so cool. But yeah, she is captured. She's directing a scene from in the film, and you know, she thought it would be cool to, because you know, typically you see male directors or even female directors before that, you know, dress very masculine. And she wanted to kind of like buck the system. But then she was like, oh, closed-toed shoes are probably not safe on set. Oh, it's right here.
Oh, yeah. I've seen that photo. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I forgot that was from Virgin Suicides.
Yeah, so good. And, you know, I probably saw this photo. I didn't know if it...
You're like, work
bitch. But, you know, I probably saw this on, like, Pinterest or Tumblr. And I always assumed this photo, thinking back, it was lost in translation.
That's what I remember it as, too. I think, I don't know why.
All, like, the appropriated quotes.
Yeah.
It's like that. But, yeah. I mean, that goes to show, like when you find your purpose.
Mm-hmm.
This is making me want to like do the artist's
Oh.
way and like, or like, yeah, just
the photo of the
way.
cross with the bra on it, though.
Iconic.
That's like my favorite. Also, it's really cool. Like, I don't know a whole lot about Corinne Day, but I guess she did a lot of like photography with like 90s fashion models.
Like Kate Moss.
Kate Moss. I don't know. I think it's interesting that they found each other in this space, you know, and Sofia had her come onto the set and take like all the photos, like the behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah, it just seems like a match made in heaven to have Corinne Day and Sofia Coppola for this film specifically. It just, yeah, it's perfect.
And I love when films like document like that kind of stuff. Like,
yes,
it really creates like that whole world that they're creating. It just adds to it, I guess.
I'm obsessed with, like, especially like 90s, 2000s, like the Polaroids, you know, for the costume designer.
Yeah.
But just like, you know, Polaroids on set or like photos on set. It's just like capturing all the candid itty bitty moments.
Yes.
Sorry. Fuck.
Rude.
Very rude. Don't interrupt.
I know.
Don't
interrupt.
podcasting.
Rude.
We're talking about Sofia Coppola changing our lives and capturing girlhood and knowing what it's like to have taste.
Yeah. Which, speaking of girlhood, I feel like I noticed like on here you're like,
oh my god, my psychobabble.
Well, like just the favorite girlhood films. Like I can't really think of a better one than Virgin Suicides, which is crazy because I'm like, we're in 2025 and I'm like, what are some films on girlhood? I know there's probably more, but maybe there's some I don't know.
No, but it's hard for me to conjure up this film.
Like a good representation.
Lady
like
Bird.
Realistic. Yeah.
Lady Bird. The girlhood. Yeah, you're right. There's not a lot of films that captured well or as well. Like that's what Sofia Coppola does.
What are they listening to?
Enya.
Oh, is that what that is?
No, I don't know. It sounds kind of like Enya.
Oh, it does sound kind of like it, yeah.
Enya created some bops.
She did.
Just saying. Only Time?
Yeah.
That's a good song. Kind of makes me cry, though.
Only Time?
Yeah. I don't even know what she's saying.
I just want to lay on the floor. People say... Wait, something when the road goes...
When the wind blows?
When the wind... Oh, yeah, you're right. What did she say?
Ba, ba, ba.
People only time. At the karaoke bar, like, only time.
Oh my god, our next karaoke adventure. We bust out Enya Only Time.
I think we should.
We should. I mean, we just harmonized.
We did pretty good there. That was a good test. Yeah, I think we could kill it. Like, practice our harmony.
Actually, this podcast is just...
we just practice. We do sing a lot, like little here and there.
We sing along to things.
I like try to. Sometimes I'll cut some out. Sometimes it'll just be there.
You know what?
I'll let it linger.
It's because as children, we were obsessed with that American Idol PlayStation game.
I still think about that game like at least once a week.
I am still, all of these years later, I'm so upset to this day. Like, I actually am like...
You got rid of it?
No, I'm upset that we never...
Made it to the end. We gotta make it to the end. We gotta, like...
Yeah.
We gotta do this. But it's because the game was broken.
There was a bug in the game.
We got so close to the end, and then it kept bugging, and then it would send you to the very beginning. You would be like 9... We'd be on the 9th, like... What is it? Like round? And then there's like one last final round.
Like we were between like David Cook and David Archuleta. Yeah. And then it would bug out and boot us
we
back
made
to
it
the
far.
beginning.
We were good.
We
but
were
remember
so
how
good.
shy we were? One of us would sing and the other one would be on the computer and we would have to turn around. But don't look at me. You can hear me, but don't look. Like, what was that? Why are we so in front of each other?
No.
It's so funny. But then, that's girlhood.
That is girlhood.
And the other one would just be like, playing those like the Barbie games or like
probably
the Disney.
The Lilo and Stitch. Just.
Or like mood board. We did mood board.
Totally mood board.
Stay mood boarding.
We stay mood boarding. I did see you this week and we did mood board and I keep forgetting that.
And we collabed on a mood board this time.
Did.
That was fun.
Yeah, it was in the spirit of girlhood.
Yeah.
Really influenced by the Lisbon sisters over here.
Definitely.
Which I kept seeing, you know, everyone's like, oh, the Lisbon sisters are like Lana Del Rey encapsulated into a song.
I had a thought about
Yeah.
Lana Del Rey, like putting a TikTok. I don't know what song though, because I feel like,
Ooh.
I don't know.
This is what makes us girls.
Genius. That's the one.
Okay.
Yes.
That was my one good idea. But no, I don't know. Speaking of TikToks though, Romy Mars
Oh,
or
yeah.
Romy Mars.
Yeah, is it Romy? Is it like
Romy?
Romy and Michelle?
Michelle? ROMY. You know what? No
Sad.
matter what Sofia Coppola says,
That's
allegedly we know the truth.
No.
But
Her other favorite movie. Oh, God, that one's kind of like about girlhood. Romy
it
and
is
Michelle.
Romy and Michelle.
Yeah.
That's like a low key girlhood film.
Yeah.
Josie and the Pussycats.
Yes.
Don't trust subliminal messages or men.
Very true.
Perfect lesson. I hear The Edge of 17 with Haley Steinfeld is quite good. I haven't seen it, but
I haven't heard of it.
open to it.
I love the song Edge of 17 though.
Great
Stevie
song.
Nicks. I hope they use it in there.
She encapsulates girlhood.
Yeah.
Which, you know, girlhood is like one of those things that's like so played out. Like
cheesy.
girlhood,
Yeah.
it's a little cringe. But Sofia Coppola, the way she can capture the teenage girl experience, it's such a unique lens, like such a unique perspective, you know?
Definitely. Yeah. Like I really couldn't think of anything else, like, as far as like, you know, like what are your favorite girlhood film? I'm like, I don't even know what encapsulates, like, I mean, I guess maybe Hilary Duff, but that is like also Disney, you know what I mean? It's not like that realistic, you know? Unfortunately, I didn't go to Italy on my school trip and
I know.
fall in love with a pop singer, and then I also had to become one, you know?
Duped by a pop singer who can't sing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't think of a lot of films that encapsulate it.
Yeah. That's like a theme though in a lot of her films, like pretty much.
Yeah, I think instead of maybe my favorite girlhood films, for me it's more my favorite Sofia Coppola moments and the little details and like the one-off shot of a really like messy vanity, like in this film.
Oh,
like
yes.
Cecilia's really into like tarot and astrology, and like we don't hear that in exposition from the narrator or in anything she does really, but we see it in her room a little bit. We see tarot cards scattered, we see the perfume, or we see the, you know, just the little things,
details. Yeah.
the like the Mary juxtaposed with like nail polish or something, and it's messy. Or in Lost in Translation, Scarlett Johansson's character Charlotte being like obsessed with her feet, or like looking at her feet, painting her toes, you know, just it's always the little things for me.
Yeah, she like I feel like Sofia Coppola really pays attention to the details, and I loved the way the set was decorated.
Yeah.
And it was cool too listening to the director of photography talk about like the tones in the film meaning different things. It's like every little decision comes together and just
so intentional.
Yeah. And it's crazy. To me, it's just so mind blowing. I'm like, this is her first film, and she's so intentional already. Like, that's just so badass.
Yeah.
I feel
empowering.
Like it's like a sign. It's like if you have a vision, just make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
Just do it. Like, don't doubt yourself. Because I think she said something where like if you doubt yourself in the moment, you might like look back and be like, oh, why didn't I do that? You know what I mean? Like if you have an instinct, like, oh, that person should like, you know, give this person a blonde wig or don't, or whatever it is. But I found it. She says, what's it's for the ID article, and the author asked her, what was your biggest learning from making that? Doesn't seem worded right, does it? Maybe she means like, what's your biggest lesson from making the film? And she says, to trust my intuition. I learned a lot from still photography that helped me when I was making the film. If you don't like something in the frame, to change it. Then if not, later you'll go, why didn't I change the hair? So just really listen to your instincts and your impulses and make what you like and what you want. Not listen to others' opinions too much, and to really trust if you're into something that someone else will be. So,
yeah, which it seems so scary.
Yeah,
it's
especially if it's just your vision, and it sounds like from like at this point in her career when she's making it, she just like really had a vision.
Yeah.
And people were like not so sure, right? Like there were like executives that were like, "Oh, this isn't gonna."
But when you know, you know.
But when you know.
Like And
now the girl is like, she's influenced so many people, and
she has. And you know, when this film came out in like 1999, 2000, it was, you know, overlooked and kind of breezed on by. It wasn't a success by any means, and now so many people, are influenced and love and like obsess over the virgin suicides and view Sofia Coppola and her work as, just like a profound staple of like filmmaking and aesthetics, like from every single angle. Like I think Sofia Coppola's influenced Gen Z pretty much, millennials, but to more extent Gen Z.
Yeah. And I'd just like to say that Roger Ebert, he gave the film a good review.
Really?
So he saw, when others did not.
That's been
to shout him out.
Roger Ebert. I've been watching old Siskel and Ebert, or if I want to be nostalgic, Ebert and Roper.
I really want to watch those, like just to hear him speak.
I really think you'd love like a 1980s like Siskel and Ebert, or like the other day I was watching a 1991. It was like a Beauty and the Beast and My Girl episode and like some other films, but Siskel was just talking about Beauty and the Beast and, Ebert, and they were having this discourse about how great of a film it was. And it was just like interesting that they were like,
Yeah.
They were also
the animated
makers.
Film?
Yeah.
Were they like that scene where the beast turns into a human?
At the time,
uncanny.
Apparently at the time, like in the early 90s, that was revolutionary,
Yeah.
Yeah, like the Disney Renaissance was like alive and well, but they were also tastemakers. Like if Ebert gave something a good review, if you get the thumbs up, you thumbs down,
Yeah.
In the ye old times. But I don't know. And like the effect trickles on, and for Sofia Coppola, it's like we wouldn't have a Greta Gerwig without Sofia. We wouldn't have a Gia Coppola, who one of my like films as a teenager, speaking of girlhood films, is Palo Alto, made by her cousin.
I was thinking about that too. I'm like, Palo Alto is another one, I guess, about girlhood that is kind of similar to Virgin Suicides, like a little aesthetically, and then kind of like just seeing the internal world, I guess. Of I forget her name, like the character's name.
Oh,
but
April. Yeah. Yeah, and I would say Gia Coppola's work is even a little more nuanced, if you could imagine, than Sofia Coppola's. More dialogue heavy for sure.
Oh, yeah.
But like Palo Alto is not, especially in James Franco's short story book, speaking of canceled people, like it is definitely not something when you read that you glob onto like Emma Roberts' character April. But in Gia Coppola's work, you could just step in her shoes and kind of see things from her perspective a lot more, and it gives things a lot more color.
Is it a book adaptation as well? Is that what you're saying? Okay.
Yeah, James Franco wrote short stories.
Oh, he wrote it, yeah.
And then Gia Coppola
directed
it.
That makes me think of this quote. Yeah? It's going to pop open this Virgin Suicides Blu-ray that you let me borrow. But
this could be in your, if the Criterion closet ever...
I would pick this. Yes. This would be, which I'm like, well, if it's in Criterion, that means that it's just not in like it's not actively being made like any more copies, except they are making them.
Yeah,
right?
and
they're keeping it alive,
essentially.
Yeah. Well, anyway, there's an insert, and it's written by Megan Abbott, and something that she said is she basically dissects like the whole film and.
It's so good. I highly recommend.
Yeah, I think she really articulates well, like everything. I don't know how else to describe it, but it's kind of like an analysis, I guess. Would you say?
Yeah. It's a Substack article for people that the audience that doesn't read.
Yeah.
Let me
see if I can find the quote I'm looking for. Okay, it says that she infuses her film with images, impressionistic, unnarrated peeks into the sisters' world on its own terms. In doing so, she exposes the tragic chasm between the narrator's assertions about the sisters, what they represent, how they might be diagnosed, and the sisters' actual private experience, and is determined to show us what they can't see. Wait, I think I skipped over a line, my bad. What did I say? How might be diagnosed, and the sisters' actual experience. And while the majority of the movie consists of following the boys' gaze, Coppola's determined to show us what they can't see, what they misunderstand, and what they simply miss. By the closing shots, following the girls' desperate final effort to escape the imprisonment at the hands of their parents, The gulf between what we hear and what we see feels immense, impassable. Wait, is that the one I was thinking? Yeah, I guess too. Like, she's just like determined to. I feel like they say it a couple times in this article. Like, she's just determined to show like their perspective. Like, it's like all these boys are projecting things onto her in a way. Like, I think even like the author of the book was like looking at them as like a hydra or something.
Yeah,
All these
like
girls
an
are kind of
enigma.
Yeah, but she's kind of like, no, like they each are their own person. Like the way she introduces them in the like the title sequence kind of says that, you know, and like all the little details you were talking about, just the way she just, I feel like, treats these characters with such care.
She does a respect.
Yeah.
No, I
That's
completely agree. No, like, I don't know if it was, you know, intentional, but like it's inevitable almost that Sofia Coppola, because she's a female, like her like female gaze, she's able to tell the story of the virgin suicides in a more complex and nuanced way. Yeah. Just like almost inherently. And yeah, it's an interesting, you know, book anyways, and it, you know, like the story is very interesting anyways, but adding the female like perspective and being directed by a female, I just think inherently like adds to it and like gives it a little more respect. Yeah. And like makes it a little more nuanced and interesting and just intricate. There's
times I feel like when you hear the boys talking like, oh, I don't understand this and that. But then like if you're a girl, you're kind of like, oh, well, that makes sense. Obviously. Like, duh, you know?
And I don't know a lot of like, even a lot of other films that we've watched, especially, you know, back in the day, like they weren't made by women or made for women. Yeah. Not that Sofia Coppola is like, I only make films for females. She makes films for everyone, but it is their intentionality to speak to the females and the female experience and make things girly and, you know, in the female gaze. And she was doing that, I think, before a lot of people, or at least in my experience. As like a, you know.
No, because that's why I'm struggling to find like anything else to compare it to, like that captures that.
And, you know, teenage girls, like, so like disrespected. Just people are like, teenage girls don't have good taste. Teenage girls, you know, or, you know,
not to be taken seriously. Like, I feel like in this movie, like all the Lisbon sisters, no one takes them seriously, which is kind of sad. It is, you know, because they inevitably, you know,
and they're like fully like autonomous people.
Yeah, they're all autonomous.
Well, they're not autonomous.
Well, they're not. Like, but yeah, I know what you mean.
What's the right word? They're not. They're trapped by Kathleen Turner and James Woods.
Yeah, but I don't know. But
they're
Sophia's
just fully formed humans.
Yeah, and she just, I feel like she shows that even without dialogue. Like, I feel like this film doesn't need that like dialogue. Like, I understand the spaces where it's just kind of like the girls just lying around being bored and feeling like trapped and things like that. Like, you know?
Yeah.
Just, it makes sense.
It's like honoring the female experience.
Yeah.
Or the female gaze. I don't know. And I don't know if it's also because, you know, she was 28 when she wrote this film and 29 when she directed the film. And, you know, from personal experience, like being so, like, I can still remember what it's like to be a teenage girl. Yeah. But I also have enough distance and enough years back to have, like, see an outside view of it. So that's like I don't know, she just like tapped into something there, and it's like it's just all there on the virgin suicides.
Definitely. Like, I think it's interesting too, like the actors, they were their actual age. You know, like Kirsten Dunst was like really what, 16.
Yeah, and the girl that plays Cecilia, she was like really like 13, 14, you know?
I think that like gets a realism across.
Really does. Can we talk about the casting?
Yeah.
Because this starts the, you know, love affair of Kirsten Dunst and Sofia Coppola. And I don't know, has Josh Hartnett in it, who's just like you know what?
Fake wig or fake hair. It's a wig.
If he can wear that bad wig and still look like the hottest thing you've ever seen,
I was shook when I found out that was a wig. Like, I still don't believe it.
Really?
Yeah. Maybe I just wasn't looking. I think it's just, he's so convincing the way he like tucks his hair behind his ear or whatever.
His care for that really bad, like cheap wig is It's dedication.
Yeah. He was
like
selling
really,
it.
He's acting his pants off as Trip Fontaine, the like heartthrob guy. And I don't know. I would have Trip written on my underwear. Like, I was sold. And I even think the explanation of him like leaving her at the football fields is like he just was over it.
Yeah.
It adds to like this weird, like, see, I can tap into being a teenage girl and being like, there's like a almost danger, but like a seductive.
Yeah.
There's
There's something about him. Yeah. I could see it.
Yeah.
That scene though still makes me mad. I'm like, God, that's very rude. Like, okay, like,
but relatable. I've been there.
Someone left you on a football field.
Girl, not a football field, but that like feeling. I think it
yeah,
it encapsulates another element of girlhood.
Yeah, there's all boys gonna let you down at some point, and you're gonna be like, fuck that, fuck boys.
Yeah, just hopefully you don't, just get in your parents' car and turn on the engine.
True. I know. There is I do feel like this movie, there's like it's like you still are trying to figure out the pieces of the puzzle. It's like, yes, they were all like repressed in this household and like locked down, but at the same time, it's like kind of crazy. Like, you just aren't really expecting all of them to go like that at the end, or like, it's kind of like you would think that there'd be like some glimmer of hope, or like the boys, like you are kind of trying to put the pieces together, because it's like, like that could have been their out, like,
Well, I like how I interpreted as that there were other leading factors, but because we were from like the outsider, like the boys' perspective, or the gossipy neighbor ladies, like the Yentas.
We did get the Yentas perspective. That was kind of a fun perspective, though.
True, I liked their hot takes.
Yeah, I love to hear them gossiping about the mom, and then we like see see her through the window or something.
Yeah, but because we're seeing it from their perspective, I like that there's like missing pieces and gaps, because it also shows like how little these boys like know about that, and how
that's true.
It just adds to an interesting element. Like, I like that it's not all like pieced together perfectly, and it's not like the point. I love that.
Yeah, I love that too. It makes me think of like in Lost in Translation, like the ending of that movie, like how it's like left up to the audience, like what is said.
And I never want to know what.
I never want to know. Yeah,
I hope.
Didn't someone ask her recently, and did she say, or did she just say it's up for interpretation? Like,
I don't remember, but
because I don't want to know.
I don't want to know. It's not.
Yeah,
it's not about that. And also knowing you fill in all the pieces, and I don't know. That's what our like imagination's for.
That's true. Yeah, we should be using
use it or lose it, baby. We gotta be Robert Rodriguezing and creating Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
Yeah,
we gotta get more creative. We need to be auteurs. Spy Kids 2.
They're tootin'. Yeah.
The one I didn't see. Spy Kids 3D, we gotta be.
You didn't see Spy Kids 2?
I did not.
Oh. To be honest, it wasn't the best one. It's my least favorite Spy Kids. Or was there a 4?
Is there? Oh my God, there is a 4. It's
what is it?
Joel McHale and Jessica Alba.
But it's not. Wait, Antonio Banderas isn't involved?
Maybe, but like not.
Are the kids still? Is it Junie and
no?
What's her name?
No.
See, that's like wrong.
Other children. I want to see Meghan Trainor's husband. That's what I want to see in my Spy Kids films.
Is that Junie?
Yeah,
that's them, right? Oh my gosh!
Because now they had that thing where they're like they Court Street Academy.
What?
They do. And this is
wait,
like
they what? Joke. Wait, they go to the bathroom together?
Yeah. It's like an inside joke.
I love how you
run a podcast. What? But you pick up what I'm putting down?
Yeah. I love that. That's what we're going to call that now. Our bathroom nightmares.
So we went to kind of like the Lisbon Sisters in a way.
In a way. It was like a religious, like,
Baptist private school.
Yeah, neither one of us are Baptists either, so I don't know why we went to. I guess it was like the one of the best private schools in the area,
in quotations. But yeah, so they made us.
we're like, this is therapy hour now.
This is therapy. It's like in kindergarten. They had a bathroom.
Couldn't go to the bathroom alone.
Of course, have a buddy, but guess what? No stall.
No separator.
No
Two
separator.
potties.
Just two potties side by side.
One
big
bigger.
one. One small one.
One had to be on the throne, the big throne, like the boss, and the other one got the little one. That was shameful. I hated being on the tiny potty. If I was gonna poop, actually, I don't think I ever did that in front of anyone. I couldn't.
You're respectful.
Yeah, but also I don't think I could. Like, I don't think it would happen. I'd be too embarrassed.
I still have nightmares.
I would hold it.
Oh my god, because we would go together because like
I didn't want to. I didn't
want to go with anyone else.
I would be too embarrassed. Yeah, like we were mature enough to look the other way or sneak into like the teacher's bathroom. Which was like a normal bathroom.
It was. I was such a brat. You know this, but I would sneak into the teacher bathroom.
Yeah. Why did the teacher bathroom have stalls and not a private toilet though? You think it'd be the opposite?
I don't know. I feel like they designed it in a way. I don't know. Red flags.
Yeah.
Are they still in business?
Wait, they designed it like Ally McBeal style. Was it a unisex bathroom for teachers? Like it's stalls?
But there were no male teachers. But they did design it kind of like Ally McBeal.
Yeah. But there's a male principal.
But
you're right. It was all female teachers. That's a lot.
Maybe that's our podcast now. We're just investigating a school we went to.
Ooh. Well, that was a really brave story. That we,
But what was the point of that?
Yeah, what?
Oh, we were talking.
Yeah, Meghan Trainor
and Junie from Spy Kids.
Yeah, so they go to the bathroom together for real? Do they have like toilets that face each other? Like,
I don't know. I saw that headline and said, "Stop right
okay,
there. I'm traumatized."
Gotcha. You didn't want to investigate any further.
And then I've seen the clip where they talk about it, but I've blocked it out.
Okay.
Yeah, it was traumatic for me.
I mean, I would be triggered as well. So thank you for giving me like a heads up. Like it might pop in my Spotify now, or like not my Spotify, my TikTok.
Oh my gosh. I mean, probably just for a quick
scare.
Chuckle. Yeah. It's old news. I'm late to the party on it and sharing it with you. Thank God.
Yeah.
But maybe they'll have a 2. Maybe they'll have an update. Maybe they don't have
now they put a separator. They're having couples problems and
out of respect they put a partition. Where's pizza?
Oh yeah, are you thinking about pizza?
Yeah, are you thinking about pizza?
I forgot about the pizza, but now I'm thinking about it.
I'm glad I could.
Went from bathrooms to pizza.
It's all about improv.
I know.
So besides this watch, and I know that we have, our movie nights with all of our friends every Sunday night.
Yeah.
I picked it for my birthday pick this year. But besides that, is that your first watch of the Virgin Suicides?
I've seen it like once or twice before, just like sporadically. Like I think maybe we watched it together, or maybe I watched it too. Like I remember my first Sofia Coppola film that I saw was Lost in Translation. And I remember that like in college I was like really inspired, like visually, like it all just kind of made sense. Like I feel like I was already having kind of similar visions in my head, and then when I saw it on the screen and stuff, I'm like, oh my gosh, yes, that speaks to me. Yeah. And then I think that's kind of what got me into Sofia Coppola. And then I'm pretty sure we watched some of her films together somehow, like over time.
We were both obsessed in college, as one does. Like, yeah, there's just a certain point in time. Like, I was late to the party on Sofia Coppola, but, once you discover her work, it's just like a whole world's unlocked.
It's a whole world unlocked.
And yeah, I wanted to watch every one of her films. If I'm being honest, and speaking of being late to the party, The Bling Ring is the first Sofia Coppola movie I saw. Like, of course, on Tumblr, I saw everything Lost in Translation, everything Marie Antoinette. Just was like, oh, I want to see that. Just pinning it and like putting it on my like Tumblr, Just being really inspired by her in a general way.
That's right. I was gonna say, I forget like Tumblr being in.
I miss Sofia Coppola.
I guess Pinterest is kind of similar, but I feel like Tumblr is such a visual medium that like you really could. It literally is like a lot of like mood boarding and like.
And it opens your mind, like it's like journaling and mood boarding and
yeah.
You just had to be there.
Just had to be there.
I did tell you, right, that I did tell someone like it was my culture, like being Italian American. I was like, yeah, I was a Tumblr girl. Day, I was a little bit pastel grunge. Like it was my
You're like, this was my lane.
This is my culture. I hear the Arctic Monkeys and I'm like,
yeah.
Don't appropriate my culture.
Don't appropriate my Tumblr
just hear
culture.
Sky Ferreira and I'm like, that's just
something takes over.
Yeah, that's my culture.
Yeah.
What was I saying? Yeah, it was the bling ring, I think, and then I completely fell down the rabbit hole and like, lost in translation. And then around that time, we were probably bonding over it.
Yeah. Still bonding over it.
Still bonding. We continue to bond over Sofia Coppola.
I know. When we went to go see, Priscilla, that was a bonding experience. That was so good. And just in the theater.
It's so good. Was that my first Sofia Coppola film in the theater?
I think it was mine. I'm trying to think because, what else could we have seen? Well,
no. That was my first Sofia Coppola film in the theater.
That's how you should see. Like, I will say, like, when you picked this for movie night, when you picked the Virgin Suicides,
it did not hit with our friend group.
It hit with me watching it on a big screen because your screen is relatively big. I feel for the TV. It's nice. It feels like a little movie theater. The way it's set up and the position of the chair. It makes it feel like a very similar experience. So I feel like when I watched it on my little screen. It wasn't. I mean, it did hit, but I feel like because her style is so visual, it just really hits different on the big screen.
100%.
And you can really get that feeling of like the film grain and like the color grading, like it just and you can see so many little details, and I just love getting lost in a film.
I completely agree. This rewatch the other day, I was like, oh, I'm just going to like paint my nails or I'm going to do this and that while I'm watching The Virgin Suicides since I've seen it so many times. No, I like was locked in.
Yeah.
I watched the whole film. I was like, oh, I didn't even paint my nails,
I know what you mean. I had a similar thought. And I'm like, no, I got to focus.
So locked in. But everything like I've been listening to since that rewatch, I've been obsessing and like listening to the soundtrack.
Ooh.
So all of the Air songs, and
great like, atmospheric.
Of course, all the 70s like bangers like Heart, Magic Man, especially when it's Trip Fontaine, Josh Hartnett like walking through the school.
Yes.
Just like even thinking about that scene and hearing that song or like
it's just crazy on you.
Oh my God, when they kiss in the car, chills.
Woo!
That was it for me.
Yeah. I love that scene.
I love it.
I love too when they're like there's a scene where they're like playing records to each other over the phone when the girls are like sending their SOS signals, and that's how they're kind of communicating with the boys is like through song and like the lyrics to these like old songs. I think those were probably from the 70s or 60s.
They invented Tumblr.
Essentially. Yeah, like your feelings like through a playlist kind of.
Through a Fiona Apple song lyric.
Yeah. But yeah, no, the soundtrack's great. Like even when they're at the dance, I'm trying to remember what that song was. That was
Sail Away.
Yeah.
With like the balloons falling down.
Yeah. It just captured like this vibe, like
I'm having the best time.
Yeah, that was like the happiest I think they were throughout the film, and it's such a great moment in time, even if it's short lived.
And all the colors, all like the blues, all like that like 1970s like metallic blue is just so cool to see with like the moody lighting and like the little grain.
I love it. Which I think it's so cool that the film is like it was like some type of film that was like out of like they don't produce it anymore. There's like a limited like stock of this film that was made or something, and it was supposed to be like a low contrast, so I guess the colors would hit different, so it'd have that feeling of the 70s. I don't know.
That's so cool. I mean, my major gripe with a lot of films, nowadays or even from like the 90s, 2000s, it's like it really feels like it's so much more modern in that way, and like all the 70s films, because it was on a specific type of film or like it wasn't as crisp, Like there's just a different vibe to it when it's like, it's just, I feel like it's so artificial sometimes, especially nowadays when they're like a period piece, but it very
I know what you
feels
mean.
like 2020.
I got the like a weird ick with like the newest like Final Destination trailer when they show the flashback.
Oh my god.
Do you know what I'm talking about? Because it looks like it's supposed to be like maybe in the 50s or something, but it's like the hyper futuristic. It almost reminds me of like, you know, those AI edits that are like supposed to
feel like back in the day.
Yeah, they like you could tell they're just retro inspired, but then they feel like futuristic and uncanny and like overproduced, like
Why
and
does that
edited.
feel disrespectful? It feels lazy to me.
Yeah.
If I'm being
I don't like it.
Siskel and Ebert. It does feel lazy.
Yeah. And it's weird because it's like, why is it like ultra modern but looking like sometimes it tickles my brain a little because I'm like, oh, like because yeah, I guess if you were in the 60s, I guess you'd still see things pretty crisply with your eyeballs, but like the colors and the tone, like there's just something about like in a film where it just
sorry to interrupt.
No.
It just doesn't evoke emotion.
Yeah, it's the emotion. That's it. Yep.
That
it's like cold. Over. It's cold when you make it too modern. Sterile, yes.
Because like the thing about, especially like going back to the Virgin Suicides, like all the warmth of the 70s tones and it feeling like a picture you would see of like Farrah Fawcett or whatever back in the day.
Or even like family albums, if you've ever seen like those old family photo albums with like either Polaroids or they're like the ones with the round corners.
Like in the books with like the old like almost orangey yellow, like
the plastic got no yellow,
but it really does look like that. And then it feels like even if, you know, obviously we weren't born in the 70s, but like that feeling of nostalgia, like even we can like feel it
in the 90s too. I feel like there's a lot of little tchotchkes that I guess have just traveled, like the little cherubs, like little certain things in the background. I noticed. I'm like, oh yeah, I've seen that like around like some houses. And
it's so interesting. When did we like? I don't know. Speaking of Kim Kardashian, is it like all that minimalist like grayish? Like we need tchotchkes again. Because, like, you know, like, even in the 2000s, like, growing up in the 2000s, like, tchotchkes were still aplenty. And, like, even in our media, you know, like, there were still little things that indicated, like, the set dressing was just, like, on point.
Yeah.
Or at least intentional.
Yeah, do you think, like, set dressing's just not as detailed sometimes, maybe?
I don't know. Are we, like, supporting creative people, though? Maybe that's
it. Yeah, we don't need a set dresser. We could add that in post, maybe.
Yeah, or I don't know. We're not going to use the budget on that, you know?
Yeah.
Like, what I even love, and, you know, I love a Nepo baby anyways, but I love that looking at, like, listening to this soundtrack and watching the movie, it's like needle drop after needle drop after needle drop, and she, like, Sofia Coppola spared no expense on the music.
Yeah. I do like that she doesn't skimp on the music.
And she like puts you on. Like I would have never discovered Air, or like I would have only known that like one album from Phoenix, but I wouldn't like be a fan of Phoenix if it weren't for Sofia Coppola and like all their like niche like 70s songs from this or like 80s from Marie Antoinette. Like
it's like a mix of like indie but also like pop, like touchstones of sorts that it's like, you know, like Crazy on You is like a song that I feel like pretty much everyone's heard that song. Like that's like kind of will get you. And then like the Air, like that kind of, you know, it's like a different vibe, but you're like, ooh.
But you can't hear Playground Love without thinking the Virgin Suicides. So it's almost like it doubles as like, kind of works as like a music video for Air as well. Like it's an exchange of creative energies.
I feel like Air is kind of like the through line, like the score, I sort of of this film, right? Because it's like throughout.
Oh, it's so good and so cool, and it's not just like, I don't know, no shade Hans Zimmer or whatever, like or John Williams score throughout, which adds so much. What about so important?
What about oh man, what's his name? I don't know why I would say Thomas. What is it? Glass? What's his name? It's not Thomas.
Philip Glass.
Philip Glass.
Iconic. Well, that one I like. That one's a little more controversial, but a score is so important, and I think it's like cool to use, like not your typical like orchestra is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. No, I agree. I like it. I wonder, because Romy is
Miss Mars.
Miss
if you're
Mars.
nasty.
She's musical,
She is.
and I wonder, would Sophia ever use some of her music in a film? Or would anyone? Would she ever do because I
Well,
feel
my
like
edits on TikTok, yes, they've been doing A-lister by Romy Mars.
yeah.
Oh my god, so good. And they've been doing it to like Sofia Coppola films, like the Virgin Suicides.
Oh my god, that's
Priscilla.
perfect.
It's so
Especially
good.
for Priscilla.
Yeah.
With A-lister, because he's a celebrity. Like
Well,
that makes that's.
It's funny because she had that whole thing of like wanting to take a photo with Jacob Elordi for her 16th birthday. Yeah.
That's the A-lister she's talking about?
No, I don't know. But that's what my TikTok is like showing the photo of.
Oh, okay.
Highly doubt.
I like that though.
No, Jacob Elordi, I think, is like still dating what's her face from the rowing scandal a couple years ago.
The rowing scandal.
Like
rowing in a
they
boat?
They said they lied and said they like to get into USC. They lied and said they were like really good at rowing in high school. Like it was like William H. Macy and like Becky from Full House.
Huh.
Big scandal, but anyways.
I don't remember. Like, I don't know. Maybe I just heard rowing and I'm like, that's just not my
You're
thing.
William H. Macy, you said? I'm out.
I'm out, yeah. Jacob Elordi, I'm in. Oh.
I hear you.
I just want to say one more thing about Romy Mars, just real quick. But
are you gonna say what I'm gonna say?
Maybe.
Okay, go ahead.
I feel like
Take it away, sis.
her music, I feel like encapsulates girlhood. It just in a Sofia Coppola fashion.
It truly does. Her music is like Sofia Coppola coded, but also isn't it funny that Romy Mars looks like a Sofia Coppola character?
She does.
And acts like a Sofia Coppola character, albeit more the bling ring than the Virgin Suicides. She looks like a Lisbon sister, but she acts like
she's in the
bling ring. And I love that.
She's Emma Watson in the bling ring.
Essentially, and I live for that. She's Nikki in the bling ring.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know. Just had to say.
What are your thoughts on... Oh, go ahead.
No, thoughts on
Romy Mars's TikTok
career. Well, what is she? I know that she did a TikTok with. It looks like it's Sofia Coppola in the background. I love that. That's how she's promoting her song. But I don't think I've really seen her TikTok. Like
my algorithm. You haven't seen her since the vodka sauce?
Yeah, I have not checked into her TikTok.
She's that generation, like it girl.
Ooh.
She's the next it girl.
Yeah.
Something about her,
she has it.
She just has it, and she's doing like, just lip syncs to her own song, and she's, so bling ring coded for sure. Like it really.
And people are responding.
If you loved hearing 212 in the bling ring,
yes,
and watching them like pose on MacBook.
Oh my God, is that what she's doing?
Essentially, that's what she's giving. Like if you love Addison Rae and what she's doing.
Yeah.
Then I think you'll love Romy Mars. And also, it's like she does feel like a real teenage girl, but it's so meta because it's like actually her. It's not a character.
Right. It's like, yes, she's her daughter, but she's real.
This is like, what Sofia Coppola was trying to talk about in the bling ring is what Romy Mars TikTok is.
I can't even imagine if Sofia Coppola, can you imagine like if that was your mom? You know what I mean? Like,
I don't know how, but that's cool though.
That would be cool. Yeah. Maybe it would have a leg up in a way.
She might get you on like a certain level.
Oh, I thought you meant get you.
She might
like lay down the law.
You know what? I would picture Sofia Coppola as a strict mother. I don't know why.
A little bit. Yeah.
Maybe not though.
Maybe
she's like super chill.
Yeah. I know.
Maybe Sofia Coppola is directing Romy Mars's TikToks. And that's why I'm like, they're so good in a way. Like
that would be funny. She's like, you know what? And I'm just going to stand back here with my little book.
Okay. Wow.
And she's like, here's the vision.
But is that besides the point of the Lisbon sisters and the Virgin Suicides? Like, Romy Mars came up with all that herself. Why not honor her auteurism? Just TikTok auteurism.
She's a TikTok auteur.
And maybe not intentional, but fun.
Yeah. I have to check out her TikToks then. Yeah. Yeah.
They're also girlhood. Oh, you know what a girlhood film is? Jennifer's Body.
Yes, that's a good one.
It
Yeah,
perfectly encapsulates it as well. And Diablo Cody.
that dialogue.
Yeah, nice insult. Hannah Montana.
Yeah, I'm starting to think about pizza. I'm like,
what's your favorite Sofia Coppola film? I know I've probably asked you this a million times.
You have, and it does change depending on my mood.
Same.
You know,
maybe that's why I ask so often, because it's
that's
just
okay.
a leading question.
Yeah, and it revolves, so got to keep asking.
Yeah.
Because in a way, I'm like, oh, it is the virgin suicides. Like right in this moment.
Yeah.
I think overall though, I don't know. Like sometimes I go back and forth between like Marie Antoinette or Lost in Translation. So good.
I mean, yeah.
The visual, like I really do love Lost in Translation. But then something about Marie Antoinette, I think, because it is a bit of like a period piece, but it's like so different for like a period piece. It's just, it tickles my brain. It's so aesthetic. I feel like it's kind of high key in a way, because it's like all this extravagance and stuff, and I love that element, you know, of it.
Yeah,
like
it's
the
like
bougie
a feast for your eyes.
Yeah, it's a feast for my, like when they bring in the macarons.
Yeah,
I'm like, ooh.
Oh, that I want candy scene.
Yeah,
so cool.
But then I feel like Lost in Translation is such a vibe to just like chill out to, and just kind of like it's almost like white noise
for me.
Yeah,
but
well, what is your favorite?
Oh God, I don't know. I mean, I agree with you. It like changes. I would say that for me, The Virgin Suicides is the most rewatchable Sofia Coppola, even though I've seen all of them a couple times at this point. But I don't know. I think my heart of hearts wants to say Lost in Translation, but maybe The Virgin Suicide. I don't know though. Maybe an unhinged like wild card would be The Bling Ring.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But
I mean, it's definitely, I don't know, it's a good film, that's for sure.
But I even like Somewhere. I think that one's really good. Have you seen Somewhere yet?
No, not yet.
I want to hear your thoughts, because I don't know if a lot of people like. It's either like you love it, or you're not gonna be like interested in it at all, or not even love it.
That's hard to like grasp, because I feel like everything I've seen of Sophia's, I'm like, oh, I love it. You know what I mean? I'm like, I don't know. I can't imagine not liking a film that she's made. So, I mean, that has Kirsten Dunst as well, right? Doesn't it? Or no?
No, it has Elle Fanning and Stephen Dorff.
I think I'm thinking of The Beguiled, maybe.
Oh, The Beguiled,
which I also haven't seen.
You know what? When I did like a couple years ago, I did this like massive like marathon of Sofia Coppola films, and The Beguiled is one that immediately I was like, don't like this, hate it, bottom of the list.
Wow.
No. But then I watched it again, and then I really liked it. But I forget about it. So maybe it's lower on my rankings.
I gotcha. But you did like, but it had a visceral reaction at first.
Yeah, which maybe bumps it up. But
I know what you mean. Sometimes I can't think of like a specific film at the moment, but I feel like I've seen things like that where it's like, oh, I don't know how I feel about that, and then like later I'm like, oh, actually, I loved that.
Yorgos Lanthimos, The Lobster.
Oh,
hated that film. You know I did. I walked right out, disturbed. But it stuck with me all these years. And I think about it like,
yeah, we should rewatch.
We should.
We should pick it for a
movie night.
Make other people watch it and be traumatized as well. What do you think?
I walk out again, go to sleep like I did for Tombstone, just see myself out.
Oh, yeah. I'm like, I wonder what. What peeps would think. Because I don't know.
They might love it.
Maybe.
And that's also a red flag. What if they never ordered pizza?
If they didn't order pizza, murder's gonna happen. I'm just kidding.
You're caught on record.
I know. I'm like, oh no, they're gonna get me. I'll erase the evidence before they can get me.
I don't know. All I had really was to like touch on creativity. Like even with, the Robert Rodriguez podcast.
Yeah.
Which like, did you have a lot of takeaways from that?
I did have like quite a few. One of the takeaways is just that he said like he went to school for film, but only for a year. And he felt like he knew a lot more in a way than some of the students because they had like an outdated way of like with the technology or something, which made me think about my experience going to school for like art and stuff. Because it's like, you know, there's all these traditional things you're supposed to follow. And I think it's good and on one hand to have like that, the technical experience and stuff. But then it also made me think it's like, oh, but there's other ways to achieve. Like, I just really admire his like, I guess his chutzpah to just do it without fully knowing everything. Like his first film when he made it, just going in and like he didn't know anything about the camera, like calling up like tech support basically and figuring it out as he went. Like I'm like, oh, that's so cool. Like I want to bring this energy.
Yeah.
You know? I don't know why let something like that stop you if you have like a vision or
I mean, Sofia Coppola had a vision for the Virgin Suicides and was like, no one can make this film but me. Like, I know in my heart of hearts, I don't know how it's going to happen. Maybe I'll just write adapt a page or two or, whatever. And then she became, just like fully engrossed in it. And it was like, I have to direct.
Yeah. It's just crazy. Yeah. Like one thing leads to another. Like,
it's just like following it, answering the call.
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to do a lot of self-reflection, like there's like certain life changes and like just like growing up.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, oh girl, your frontal lobes developed now. You gotta,
I hear you.
whip it into shape and kind of be your most like show up for yourself. It's not even being most authentic self. I think it's just like showing up for yourself and following your intuition. And I think it's so cool to see people like Robert Rodriguez or Sofia Coppola, like they're like good people to look up to think, oh, like you like followed it, you like answered the call.
And they stayed humble as well. Like I thought it was cool, like listening to Robert Rodriguez. He's like on this podcast. To be honest, I don't know who Lex Friedman really is, but I mean, it's like
good. Keep it that way.
But it seems like kind of low key. Like my point is, I'm like, oh, like he's just like to me, I think of Robert Rodriguez and I kind of, maybe because he directed Spy Kids. Really,
you were like
seminal.
Game over.
I was like, what, that masterpiece?
Yeah, you were like Shark Boy and Lava Girl, 5 stars.
Bravo. But like, I feel like I hold him in a high regard, like low key, like I think I always have in a way, maybe.
Yeah.
And that maybe that's part of it is like my little kid brain has been like, whoa. But like also seeing some of his like earlier films, but then like just recently finding out like how he approached it all is just so cool and mind-blowing.
Like guerrilla style.
And then Nikki, don't you have a book?
I do.
Have you read it or is it?
I have not, but
I'm just curious. It looks like
do you
want
to borrow it?
Yeah, maybe sometime. It's what is it? A rebel without
a crew.
Mm-hmm. Clever title.
Yeah.
But it looks like cool because he's like really he's talking about like independent filmmaking and stuff like that. I don't know. It just really made me think about just film in general and the state of film right now and how I feel like we need people like that and like Sofia Coppola, just people with a vision and want to make like their own stuff and
I love it because Robert Rodriguez, I don't think about him a lot besides Spy Kids.
Yeah,
doesn't cross my mind a lot, but I also view him as someone that's like he just makes shit.
Yeah.
Like, he was like, oh, my young son has this idea. Let's make the movie. Let's make Shark Boy and Lava Girl. I don't give a fuck.
I love that.
Like, yeah, I'm going to do this because I, feel called to it and I want to. So in a way, like, maybe it is like the Gen Xer of it all. Or like Sofia Coppola, like, could do anything she wanted, really. And she was like, I want to be an indie filmmaker.
Yeah.
She still, writes, she still directs, she still, is the auteur. Like these artists they're not, But I get the merit in the other ones, like the other directors who go to bigger and bigger things. But it is cool to just kind of like stay in a lane and have these films. Like that's how you get the next Scorsese.
Mm-hmm.
Like even Jordan Peele is kind of created, kind of like stuck in line with, just his specific vision.
That's true.
We need to do that more.
Yeah.
That's why I love Emma Chamberlain. Go ahead.
Oh, no.
Sorry.
What about Emma Chamberlain?
Well, just she, started out as a YouTuber of all things. And, she like influences the vlogs we watch now, like the style of editing. And like, she was like a tastemaker just because she was like followed a call. And like,
and she does it all too, right?
She
edit everything?
edits. Yeah.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
Respect.
Well, speaking of that, I did. Whoop, this book is heavy.
I know. I'm like, let me help you.
Thank you.
It's like a Bible.
It really is. This is my Bible. Amen. But she talks about, well, she was interviewed by Lynn Hirschberg, and she was talking about actually Lost in Translation, but she was just talking about that time and being a filmmaker and all of her success with Lost in Translation. But she says, it was the first time I hadn't adapted someone else's work, and an original screenplay was more challenging. It was also more personal. Growing up, that was my goal. My father would say that the most important thing is to make personal films. I was raised with the idea of auteurism, of having a distinct point of view. And I still believe that's how you become an artist. What's the whole point of doing a movie unless it's something that only you could make?
Wow.
Which,
Right on.
yeah. It's just
Have a point of view.
Yeah. That's the important part.
I like that. I think she's right. She'll have our own points of view and just, yeah, lean into it.
Lean in, lock in.
Yeah.
But any other things you wanted to? Oh my God, we didn't talk about Mariska Hargitay.
Oh no! And I'm wearing my SVU shirt.
That can't happen. Not on my watch.
Oh yeah. Well, speaking of auteurs, filmmakers, if you will, Mariska Hargitay has directed a new documentary. It's about her mom, Jane Mansfield.
Yeah.
Kind of about girlhood, her growing up, sort of, with this like figure as a mom. I don't know, or without, because she was dead. But you know, like the idea of her, because Jane Mansfield was really big at the time. You know, she's
figure.
Yeah.
The legacy.
The legacy. Yeah. Growing up in that shadow, I guess, of sorts.
Yeah, and because she died in like such a horrific way, and like Mariska Hargitay was only 3, and it's
a lot of layers. It's a lot to unpack. She unpacks a lot, I guess. But she was writing this narrative for her mom, which is interesting because I guess, you know, because she was like a blonde bombshell, and there's a lot put onto her, and she was an actor, so like breaking out of that role was really hard.
Super smart, apparently.
Yeah,
Jane Mansfield
no one
was
knows.
Like a genius.
Anyway,
like super high IQ. You know what's wild? So Jane Mansfield, in her like 34 years of life, had a lot of like babies.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Or
she had other kids too.
She had other children, and you know, children young, and you know, throughout her short life. But her first daughter, do you know what her name is?
I forget now.
Jane Mansfield.
Her first daughter was also Jane?
Yes.
Just like Lorelai Gilmore?
Yeah. Jane Mansfield.
Huh. Wow.
There's so much more interesting facts about her, but that was the one that just I couldn't stop thinking about.
Yeah. How do you feel about that? Like, just naming your kid the same name as you? Do you think it's kind of cool? Or like a I don't know, shakes things up. Like guys do it all the time. There's like John the Second. It sounds like a pope, but
I just think if I had my time machine, I would have loved her to be Jane Mansfield Jr.
Junior?
Yeah.
You want to add the junior?
Add the junior because it's a little confusing.
Yeah, I hear you. That is a little
like,
confusing.
It's also sad for her. People are going to call her Jane Mansfield and be disappointed because it's not Jane Mansfield rising from the dead.
Yeah.
Give people a fright. It's like they've seen a ghost and it's her daughter, you know?
Yeah. But maybe you wouldn't want to think about your mom like that often.
That's true.
You know?
And her horrific death. Maybe she's changed her name at this point.
Maybe
she goes by an alias.
Not even the Mansfield, but
maybe not.
Yeah.
But you know what I was also thinking about? You know the Mean Girls soundtrack? You know that song that's on like the opening credits of the DVD? Like, yeah, like a off-brand, like a Timu Avril Lavigne.
Yeah. Timu. I like
really
that.
rude. I don't.
No, I love it. Read them.
No, but I actually like the song. It's a bop.
Yeah.
But they say, yeah, I'm California. But she says a line in that song is, I'm sitting in Jane Mansfield's car, which is fucked up.
Oh my God.
Canceled.
Oof. Wow. Yeah, that's heavy.
It like when we were doing our Mean Girls episode, I did research this girl. Her name was Katie Rose, or is, but she was like 13, 14, writing this song with her father.
I do remember you telling. Wait, oh yeah, that's the one. Yeah, James Manson. It's all coming back to me. Yeah,
and she wrote this song at like 14 with her father. Wild,
girl.
You know, when you write a song with a banger for Mean Girls with your dad, and just evoke a horrific death of a Hollywood icon.
Yeah, it's classic.
Yeah,
you know.
Sorry, I know
everyone does that.
Those should not be my takeaways when you write down on a doc. Let's talk about Mariska
It's
Hargitay.
okay. I forgot I wrote that down. I think it just was like, ooh, SVU News. I must speak on this.
We need a theme song.
Yeah.
Breeze SVU News, take it away.
Yeah, that's my picture. It's like, it's a great soundtrack too.
Excellent. Could listen to 10 hours of that.
Yeah. I think it's cool that she's embracing all this stuff about herself, like, and like her I guess she had like a lot of shame around like who her mom was, or like the image of her and wanting this mother figure, but also just like, I don't know, I guess she's just finding out who her father, or no, she found out who her father was, but she kept it under wraps, like publicly, no one's really known. And I don't know, there's like a really interesting article that's in Vanity Fair, and she talks about like her character Olivia Benson and how she's been like this kind of symbol, like a kind of like a mother figure in a way to some people, and just all that stuff. And then honestly, she just looks banging in the Vanity Fair photos.
She looks hot.
I've never seen her look this hot. Like, I'm like, whew, like she's kind of leaning into that too, I think. And I don't know, I'm really curious about this documentary, you know. I mean, I don't know a lot about Jane Mansfield, but like I'm just like curious about the perspective. It just sounds interesting, like, you know, the fact that she's like directing and like talking about it. I'm like, oh, it sounds like she might direct more things. I'm like, that's an interesting lane for Mariska, you know?
That's cool.
Yeah.
I love that for her.
Like, you go, girl. But she's still doing SVU. She's like, I'm not done with Olivia Benson. So I'm like, okay, like she's still, I don't know. It's so interesting that she's like played that character for so many years and is still playing her.
That's crazy to think about. It didn't even cross my mind that show is still on, that Law and Order was still on. It's
still going. And I think I want to say Ice-T's still on there. Is he?
Yes.
I think so. I don't know who else, but she's basically, she's the new captain. She's like she like worked her way up, you know, as you do, I guess. But I don't know.
This is like real life. The pace of Law and Order.
It is like the pace. It really is. Seriously, like it's like a week happened. It's like you get a snapshot of like their whole week on a case. And
what's his face? What's his name? Dick Wolf. His genius. He's doing like a Richard Linklater Boyhood style. Like it's going through like the paces of actually what it's like to work in the Special Victims Unit.
Yeah. Wow. It's good stuff. I don't know. I really just I feel like we got to watch that show at some point. I'll make like a recommendation list of episodes or something.
Please do. Because yeah, I've only seen like bits and pieces of Law and Order. But I want to get into it. And I love the theme song.
The theme song slaps.
Is it best theme song? Or it's up there?
Yeah. No, best theme.
It's
period.
It's the one that makes me freak dance or makes me compelled. It compels me.
Definitely.
Like,
I'm just thinking about it. I'm like,
no, that or like if City Girls plays at a club. Yeah, either one.
Same feeling, same sensation.
Like Sofia Coppola's work to like it evokes an emotion. Yeah,
definitely. Which Nick?
Yeah,
there's some movies you're dying to see this summer.
Oh yeah. I want to see Materialist with Dakota Johnson and Chris Evans and Pedro Pascal.
That looks like a fun one.
In like a love triangle situation, and I don't know, it just seems really interesting.
I'm like, oh, Pedro Pascal, interesting. Yeah. They play opposite love interests. I think.
Yeah, and she's like a matchmaker, A24.
But for the girlies who are looking for like rich men, kind of like.
It's the director that directed Past Lives a couple years ago, and this is like an interesting take on a rom-com. and an interesting director that I
Did you see Past Lives?
I did not, but I've always wanted to.
I want to see it.
I watched so many clips. It was one of those films like when we watched that year. I just didn't see it, and I was like trying to get those clips in.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah,
but no, it's just really an interesting like concept.
I like the idea.
In that the concept of past life was like really personal to her. Speaking of like an auteur in a way, I suppose, but just that personal touch of that movie and like all that success of that to go to do this like rom-com is interesting.
Yeah,
it's like an interesting.
I'd be down to see it.
Lane. Yeah,
plus it's Dakota Johnson. I'm like, this looks like a better story than 50 Shades.
True.
You know, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, ooh.
But what about How to Be Single?
I mean, honestly, I enjoyed How to Be Single. It was a romp, you know?
I liked it as well.
Yeah. I feel like I was a little harsh in the episode when we talked about it, but I think it's only because of my expectations.
What's your like favorite rom-com of like the past 10 years?
Rom-com.
Because, it's been bleak.
I know. I'm like trying to think. I'm like, it's Bridesmaids is like, there's some rom-com elements, but it's more, I feel like it's more like a friendship film. And like, there happens to be some rom-com with the police officer.
At the time, I haven't watched it since, but Trainwreck with Bill Hader and Amy Schumer. I really liked that at the time.
I don't think I've seen Trainwreck.
I was charmed. I mean, that was 10 years ago at this point, but I was charmed.
I was going to say, I love Trainwreck.
I love being a train wreck.
I love Bill Hader.
I love Bill Hader too. Sleeping with Other People. Allison Brie, Jason Sudeikis.
You know what? The Wrong Missy.
Okay.
It's pretty wild. I remember it being really funny. I don't know if it had a lot of romance though. I don't know.
What was that movie?
It's been Bleak Street. You're right. It's
really
like
is. Set It Up.
With
Glenn Powell, Zoe Deutsch, Lucy Liu, Tay Diggs. You watched it.
I did.
They were like both.
Oh,
interns.
I loved that
one.
Yes, that one was actually really fun.
Yeah,
that was a good one.
That's probably my favorite of the past few years.
Yeah, I even enjoyed. Oh man, it's escaping me. But like Sydney Sweeney.
Oh, Anyone But You.
Anyone But You. Even just
cute.
for the use of the unwritten.
It's true. Glenn Powell does really shine in that movie.
Yeah.
I want to see more of Glenn Powell in rom-coms. Like, bring back the rom-com and just cast Glenn Powell.
Just cast him.
He's right there.
Yeah.
If he was a popular, like, actor in the 2000s, he would be Matthew McConaughey all over the place.
Definitely. I know. I got to thinking. I'm like, yeah, who are, like, yeah, we need some, like, staples.
I want Iowa Debris in a rom-com. Like, a proper one with Glenn Powell. Just add it. Just do it.
That'd be fun. I could see that. Yeah. Yeah. She's hilarious. She'd be perfect. Her comedic timing.
She reminds me of Julia Roberts. Honey Don't also looks cool. It's like Ethan Coen and directing Margaret Qualley and Aubrey Plaza. So.
I'm interested in if nothing, just like the cast. I'm like, ooh.
Oh my God.
Aubrey Plaza and yeah.
So I'm like FaceTime someone. I don't know if you just watched that.
I did see that.
And a number I don't know too. So
oh my gosh,
I'm gonna flip this over.
Close it. Well, no one looks at us.
No, don't look at us. But before we sign off, any final thoughts?
I would say I really I love Sofia Coppola, and I feel like I need to watch the rest of her filmography. Because I'm like, I want to I feel like I'm missing out. I mean, I know I could just watch it, but it's like, I forget, she's done so much,
What Sofia Coppola films haven't you seen? Besides Somewhere.
Like The Beguiled. Yeah. And wait, is that all?
Oh, On the Rocks, but I don't need to see
that one I don't need to see.
I mean, maybe, but that's only 3.
I guess that's only 3. I don't know why. My mind seems like.
I mean, if you really want to get into it, what about Lick the Star?
Lick the Star, yeah.
But have you seen Godfather Part 3?
Yeah.
Well, then you've seen a Sofia Coppola film. If you count that.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. You're close.
I'm getting there. Yeah, I just want to see them all. Like Pokemon, I want to catch them all.
Catch all the Sofia Coppola films.
Yeah.
Well, looks like we have some movies to watch. And some pizza to eat.
I know. All I'm thinking about is the pizza out there.
Pizza.
to be honest. If they haven't eaten it all.
I know. Fingers crossed. But I haven't heard anyone ring the doorbell. So
Oh, good point.
if they're still yapping,
if there's no pizza,
we're gonna riot in the streets. Well, thank you guys so much for listening.
We will see you next week.
Bye.